15 years they hit the headlines and each other, mixed violence with religion, smashed guitars and convention. They were the mod band, the high priests of rock and roll outrage, playing harder, longer and louder than anyone else. But what of the Who now? Who are they anyway?
There were 4 snotty punks playing devil's music deep in the bowels of London town.
Teenage wasteland, oh yeah, it's only teenage wasteland. Teenage wasteland, oh yeah, it's only teenage wasteland.
Well, Roger, here we are in the Marquee, no less. Seeing your very first gig as The Who, is it not?
Well, yeah, I suppose you could call it that. First significant gig, yeah.
Well, the first... You'd gone from being a band called The High Numbers, right, back to being The Who.
Before that. I mean, this was the first one that meant anything, yeah. I mean, it was all pubs and weddings and social functions before that.
And bar mitzvahs?
No bar mitzvahs.
Not too many.
Unfortunately. They were well paid, I hear.
Anyway,
we've got the next question.
I'm just getting the old signals and everything. What was it like, the Marquee, in those days? All the mods, the queues at the doors and...
It wasn't... I mean, it was just as dirty as it is today, really. I mean, I've been looking around. I mean, quite a lot's changed. The bar, there wasn't a bar over there, and the dressing room was half the size as it is now, and the stage was about a third the size. Basically, it's the same. It was a great... I mean, I don't know... I'm a bit old now, I mean, to know what the kids feel today, but when I think back about that period, it was as though we were a kind of express train. Like the youth movement was like going one way and there's nothing in the world was going to stop it.
You started off here at the Marquee, a small little place. The Beatles started at a club, the Cavern in Liverpool. The Animals started at the club at Go-Go in Newcastle. The Marquee is the only one of those three that's left.
Not just the Who started at the Marquee, though. I mean, that's the amazing thing about this club. I mean, Eric Clapton, the Yardbirds, so many bands started down here. Chris Barber. I mean, it all started in Chris Barber, yeah. It's going back a bit, isn't it?
Jam sessions, did you ever get involved in any of those?
No, it was very funny because it's the one thing that nobody would dare do with The Who. we come up and jam. Very few. There's only about one. That was John Sebastian that I can remember has ever jammed with the Who.
Would you ever fancy playing a place like this again?
No.
People try to put us to down. Talking about my generation. Just because we get around. Talking about my generation. Things they do look awful. Talking about my generation. I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation. This is my generation, baby. Why don't you all fade away?
I don't know, I'd hate to be a band starting out today. I mean, I can't even attempt to imagine the kind of the steepness of that ladder in front of you. I mean, when we started, so much hadn't been done. I mean, hardly anybody had heard of rhythm and blues. I mean, the old Chicago type blues. Tamla Motown, nobody had heard of. I mean, we were just, what we basically did in the early days, we used to blatantly copy it. But because we were British, I mean, it came out slightly like a bad copy.
It was bands like you as well, in America.
Today, I mean, what do people do if so much has been done? I hate to think what it must be like trying to do something new today.
It's really an emotional thing. Roger very much feels that, and I have to agree with him to a great extent, that you know, you can't be in a rock band and you can't have a successful rock band unless you tour. That playing, performing, being in front of an audience is part of it, because rock and roll is theatre. That's part of its success, is the fact that it works physically in front of people. It makes people jump up and down. Record players don't often do that. And neither does television. At a rock concert, it's very rare to see somebody with their feet up and a pipe and a, you know, bacon sarnie.
I mean, as long as we do get on stage to do it, I mean, then to me it's all worthwhile. To me, the rest of it, it's all playing about, I mean, and avoiding the real issue, because to me, a group, especially a group like The Who, which is a very kind of idealistic group anyway, only exists, it's only ever as good as its last show, if you like.
If I can just sort of distill down the whole point about touring, a rock and roll band has to perform. There's no question about it. I mean, if it's going to be alive, it has to perform, and I accept that. But what I can't do anymore is I can't do long, sustained tours. It's not performing live that I'm complaining about. It's the fact that tours, like bloody circuses, are what the rock business is all about. I don't really want to be part of a circus anymore. If that's what rock and roll has to be about, then I'm not involved in rock and roll anymore.
Yeah, I know that feeling very well.
I think that's about as simple as I can put it.
I don't feel that I'm in a group unless I'm on stage. I mean, I do need to be out there in front of live people. I mean, to me, it's the only time you actually put yourself on a line and say, look, this is what we are. Because all the rest is done behind the scenes, and I'm not interested in that. I don't like it. I hate it. It's like working in an office, if you like.
I want to be on a stage. There's no greater band to be on with. You know, I like performing, but I don't like aeroplanes. I don't like hotels, and I don't like all that stuff. I'm sick of it. I've been doing it for 15 years. I'm fed up with it.
I know the only place I can relax, you know, like when I'm away, is as soon as I get home and I crash out and I become like a zombie.
Sort of like now.
Like now,
yeah.
Right.